Welcome, everybody. There's been a new trailer. There's been a new trailer? Holy shit. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've seen Monogatari for the first time. It's been quite a while. I know back in the day, 𝐏𝐢𝐏 started to watch Monogatari. I was like, okay, watch it with him, right? Because I had started back in Monogatari and I stopped at episode, I don't know, 9, 10. I know. But, Bake is probably, in my opinion, one of the weaker parts of Monogatari in general. I mean, I love it to pieces at this point, but think about it. You come in here as a new viewer, right? You don't know shit about Mono, aside from, like, maybe a couple of memes. A couple of Oshino memes. And this is where you're at. But yeah. I've watched it with 𝐏𝐢𝐏, right? Binged it, and then watched his reaction to it. I'm gonna be watching every piece here. I mean, I have novels, right? I have them right here. I don't read all of them right now. Give me just a second. Hopefully, I'm gonna skip this because it is what it is. Right, I do have the novels here, but let me tell you, I've only read like the first couple. This is like the box set of like the Monogatari series. Very, very beautiful. You don't properly see it here, but yeah. Season 1 and Season 2, I have both box sets. Not Season 3, not Owari, which is one of, like, probably my favorite season of Monogatari. But, yeah. I don't know what off-season is. I don't know what monster season is. I know it's a continuation of some sort. I know it's something that 𝐐𝐢𝐏 is writing, and whatever 𝐐𝐢𝐏 is writing, 90% of the time is gonna be lyrically amazing. Just for the simple fact of wordplay, philosophizing, and all the other shit that's going on inside of there, right? It's always food for thought, and you can always get something out of it. Something great, right? And he has very, very good control over all of these narrative threads that he's putting together in order to talk about certain themes and topics and then bring them together at the end of an arc or at the end of a series. Because technically Owari, in a lot of ways, right, felt like the end of the Monogatari series. So I do wonder if we are now in post-Araragi territory, right? Or post-Koyomi. Let's say post-Koyomi because there's 2 more Araragis, right? Which we could apply this to. One of them being an oddity herself, and another one being very much like Koyomi. So this could be interesting. We do have Kanbaru, which we did have in Hana, kind of as almost a spiritual successor to Koyomi, because he was away at that point at university, and she has kind of been taking over. I mean, obviously it was her own story, right? Her own stuff to process, with her own connections going on. But in a way, it felt to me this way, right? With then Araragi returning and him and Kanbaru talking for a bit, and him kind of passing on, right, the mantle, while Oshino low-key kind of passed on the mantle to Koyomi for what he's been doing. That's on the grander scheme of things, of course, beyond personal development, which is end of adolescence and whatever. And all of the younger characters in our series, they will be going through not the same, but similar kind of developments for their adolescence blooming out, right? If you want to use the Hana metaphor, and then kind of ending, right? Coming to a conclusion of their own decision, mind you, because as we've seen in Owari, it's been a conclusion of Araragi's own decision. Oftentimes, right? His own cognitions, his own perception of things, coming to grips with himself, right? Himself in the past, clashing with himself in the present, or also kind of himself, an aspect of himself, his inner critic, basically, coming to blows with whatever he was once at the moment the series started, at the moment all of this got kicked off with Kishot Asarola Orion Hard on the Blade, with Shinobu, of course, at this point. But yeah, we're gonna look into what they're gonna show us. I have no idea what this is. I have not read it. I don't even know if there's an English version of it to read, so... And I've not seen it, for sure. Alright. I do have, like, automated English subtitles. I don't know if they're any good. Honestly, I don't know if they're any good. But we're gonna see what we get presented here. We do have the bird motive going on, but that might be a preview thing.
𝐸𝐦𝐏 およそ半年が過ぎようとしている。
Half a year? Okay, okay. Okay, maybe it's Tsukiya's story? Also Ononoki. Yes.
正義の魔法少女だ。退治しに来た魔物っていうのはどんなやつなの？世の中が甘くない
We have justice talk.
とても嬉しい。私はこの町に君臨する神です。荒らぎ月日が良かれと思って行動したことのすべてがやることなすこと綺麗に裏目に出てやがる。
Oh, there's some crazy shit because we... Right.
大丈夫。次は死んでも失敗しない。
Yay. Alright, so interesting. It was a very quick trailer, but let's actually break this down, okay? I'm gonna take off my headphones because I'm not sure how loud I am with the headphones on. I should have done that earlier, by the way. Do love the style of animation, right? The white in front of a dark background where we can phase in different kind of animations. We do have the running, which is very cool. But the moment I saw this, I was like Tsuki, because the 𝐏𝐢𝐏 plus the hair, like the length of the hair and the way it's like neat, kind of almost symmetrical in a way, as opposed to what Karen is rocking most of the time, or was rocking most of the time. A bird also, right? Phoenix bird motive makes perfect sense in this case, but also those are doves, so it feels more like peace. I do wonder what that means. Is that a reference just to Ononoki, or is it something more, right? Birds represent freedom too. We see that in a lot of anime going on. And we have the feathers, right? Oh, amazing. I did miss... I mean, it's not exactly like it used to, but I did miss Shaft's way of animating things. This will be a treat to see, I'm pretty sure. We have no flashcards. But yeah, I do assume, like, probably somebody I've talked to said that the animator of the new thing is probably gonna be the one, or the director of the new thing is probably gonna be the one who did Sokuowari. So we're probably gonna see, most probably gonna see this style of directing. Been about half a year since I started observing the ravages of time in the fields and eternal encounter. That's sounding like mumbo jumbo. So if anybody has the English version, I would love to look at it. Maybe I'll find it after the fact, but we'll gonna go along as we see fit. And she's like, this sounds weird, my stuffed animal, whatever, but Tsuki had her as like a stuffed doll, right? Had Ononoki as a stuffed doll. That was like the cover they had for it, which is really cool and actually nice. She's eating Haagen-Dazs or some shit. But yeah, seems like she kind of discovering oddities for herself, right? This looks, I mean, it might be just us. Holy shit, pause. It might be just us not being misled by how the trailer is shot. But this looks like Ononoki was going for that good old ice cream, as she is oftentimes. She seems to love it. And Tsuki comes in and she's like, what the fuck is my doll doing? She looks older, we do see that. She does have that, but she still seems to have like, maybe it's a high school uniform, I'm not sure. Could be a high school uniform. It looks more middle school to me, but maybe it's the high school. And also, yeah, Karen is the older one, so she's going to high school, so Tsuki still has 1 year of middle school left, so I do wonder if this is where you kind of drop in. Obviously I cannot read these kanji, so I do apologize. Birds flying, Yotsugi being here, one of my favorite characters, by the way, so great that she's in the series. I've come to this world to exterminate monsters from 2 dimensions. I wonder how much of this is actually one-to-one translation and how much of it is kind of just weird. Because it sounds very weird, but it might very well be true. I am a match. Oh, yes, she's using that as like, of course she is. Of course she's like, yeah, how would you do this? Alright. Madoka crossover, when? Yotsugi Ononoki as one of the magical girls, right? She's fighting witches. Yeah, and we do have the Phoenix symbol, of course we do, and the lit matches, which makes perfect sense, right? Tsuki is very much like a... Right, we did have that liken to kind of her being very explodey, right, in her temperament, which is very interesting. Oh, I love you, Ononoki. Amazing. They went crazy on the detail here, crazy on the yays. Yeah, Tsuki and Ononoki as the main attraction, at the very least at this portion that we are seeing now, right? The first portion we're probably gonna see. And we're gonna go on the monster hunt. Actually, Nadeko being in the thing, it makes sense on the one hand, right? She's the same age as Tsuki, she was her friend, or Tsuki was her friend, however you want to call that. And we've seen, especially like in the latter half of like Owari, we've seen her multiple times being over at Sengoku's. Her character development was amazing in the main show. I do wonder if we're gonna go further into that, if she has more brushes with oddities, because as they say, right, once you've met an oddity, it's kind of more likely that you meet more of them, right? You at that point you have a connection with the supernatural, right? You are kind of maybe attracting them, even like the likes of Koyomi and Tsubasa, Hanekaba, of course, natürlich. Hachikuchi being here again, holy shit, all the favorites, all the good ones. Very interesting how they focus on these lips, right? I'm having Nisa Monogatari flashbacks, and not the good kind. Maybe the good kind. Yeah, that is a scary picture. All right, Tsuki, whoa, chill out, okay? Chill out, take a chill pill. Burning herself, lighting the match and burning herself at it. That is something you can kind of read into, right? You can kind of assume maybe it's a metaphor for her approach in life and how she goes about things. I do love the shaft angles. I do it. It backfires beautifully. It becomes a new day. Even if I die, next time, 2024, next time, I won't fail. All right, interesting because whoever is gonna say, wait, who is saying that? Like, even if I die, it's Ononoki. Interesting because she already died once, right? She's a Shikigami, so she already died. Also, I see what you did there with the skirt design on Nadeko. What the fuck are you doing, right? What the fuck are you doing, designers? All right. We have to go to Hachikoji. We do have Kanbaru being involved, which is cool. She could be kind of a mentor type kind of deal. Ononoki kind of trying to keep on the rails, right? Being the person who is all yay, peace, but actually working for Gaian, right? Working to keep the balance, right? Being more serious than all the other characters in that regard. Hachikoji having very kind of like, as a god now, right? Guiding our characters. Nadeko being a crazy element, right? I don't think she's gonna go the length she's gone to with in the previous seasons of Monogatari, because her arc is kind of over in that regard, and she made significant progress in her character development to actually come to the point where she had kind of gotten to grips with who she really is and is trying to live that out, which I absolutely love. But she could be a very interesting powder keg element in this dynamic with Tsukuhi, who herself is already a little bit of a powder keg. I'm sure Kanbaru is gonna bring all kinds of BL, GL energy in here, and she's maybe gonna take over that part of Araragi. I do wonder who's. I mean, from the sound of the trailer, it sounds like Ononoki is actually narrating this, which is a very interesting, curious thing, because she's an oddity herself and whatever. Her narrating this as opposed to Tsukiya narrating this, although we had some Tsukiya lines as well. It could be Tsukiya as well narrating it. I do wonder if we even have a narration, or if it's a completely different style kind of thing, because throughout all of Monogatari, 99.9% of Monogatari, including the arcs, which was not Araragi point of view, we always had narration. Kaiki narration, Hanekawa narration, all of it was narrated by the people who the story was about. So I do wonder who's narrating this, if it's actually Tsuki point of view, Tsuki narration, or if it's Ononoki narration, because we heard that kind of like her being like, okay, even if I die, I won't fail. But we also heard like in Tsuki in the beginning, where it was like, wait, what's happening to my stuffed animal, or stuffed doll in this case? Yeah, and the park, I don't know how it's called again. It's been a while. I could immediately tell, even if there was no subtitles and they would just name drop the park, I would know. So at the very least, I would be up to snuff on that. Shaftisms, a lot of shaftisms, but not as many as I would have expected. Shadow puppets? Interesting. Interesting, right? The shadow puppet work here? Bird. It's all bird metaverse throughout the entire fucking preview. You lick that ice cream. I mean what? I'm sorry. And that shot, not this one, the other one, this one with like the ears and the how do you call that? The eraser going on. Handprints, interesting handprints on Nadeko's thing? Wonder what that means. And the incredible like environmental design that we are used to. It looks all new and shiny, but you see the art style to a T, right? It's there. It's absolutely there. I wonder who is seeing Now that she's a god, she can actually probably choose to be seen by anyone. Because I was wondering who's gonna see Hachikochi, but yeah, amazing shots. Amazing shots. Bird cage. The bird is out of her cage, right? Again, metaphor. Tsukiji, bird cage. She's out of her cage. She's breaking out and she's exploring the world of oddities, question mark. Yeah. 2024. Wait, which month though? This looks like coming 2024, not the month. There's no sign for Getsu or Gatsu. Yeah, couldn't be more excited. Honestly, couldn't be more excited. If this is gonna come out, it's gonna be a must-watch for me, right? Immediate watch. Dictator slot. I mean, okay, look. I'm gonna take my time with it, right? If I'm in the middle of shit, I might just delay it for like 5-6 episodes, right? Halfway through, and then I'm gonna be like, okay, now I'm gonna start it. Right? Early access, 1 week, 2 week, whatever. And then we're gonna do it, we're gonna watch it. But we're gonna make time for it at some point. We're gonna make time for it. The first slot that gets free, it's gonna be in there. Or maybe it's even gonna be in there earlier than that. I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna take my time for this. Because this is exciting, this is amazing. I did love to watch Monogatari. When I started out with my Monogatari journey with Thibaut and all of that, I was very green behind the ears, right? It was much like when I first watched Neon Genesis Evangelion, which is still one of my absolute favorite series of all time. It just becomes better with every rewatch because you discover so many new things, and you yourself as a viewer of anime, as a viewer of media in general, right? As a consumer of media, as somebody interested in media and how to create, but also how to watch and receive media. You develop over time. The more series you see, the more stuff you read, the more things you discover for yourself, and then you go back to something like this that has so much depth on like a narration level, right? I think the most unimpressive thing about Monogatari is like the baseline surface level plot, because it's all in the subtext. You have so much stuff in the subtext that is just happening behind the scenes, and some of it is very, very crucial and important for you actually being able to tell and foreshadow what's going to happen down the line. And some of it is absolutely irrelevant for that. It's beautiful wordplay, it's little hints and nudges, it's inside jokes and clever on the nose or not so on the nose references. It's all of that, and that is what makes it such a great work of art. And in addition to that comes, of course, in addition to this baseline, this writing of Nishio Isin, which in my opinion, comparing to some of the other series of his that I've seen parts of and read parts of, it's his best work, right? In addition to this great work, you do have the animation and the music and all of these elements coming in together as a product of Shaft, which is one of my favorite animation studios, right? Monogatari, Sangatsu no Lion, Madoka Magica, all of this. Very, very nice that I started reacting at a time when all of these things are gonna be coming up. Be that end of 2024 or be that delayed at some point in 2025, whatever. But it's close, it's in reach, and that is amazing. And we do see new stuff for the first time in a very long time. We do see new animated stuff in the Monogatari franchise that is going beyond like the main bulk of the series that we've seen so far. And I do wonder how Nishio Isin's gonna spin this tale on beyond Araragi's graduation from his adolescence. That that has been the trailer reaction, the preview, the preview reaction to the Monogatari. I think off-season it is. It should be off-season or off-season and monster season. I've been Terminus. If you do like my channel or content, if you're new to this channel, if you're interested in seeing stuff, I do have Made in Abyss going on. I do have 𝐏𝐢𝐏 going on. I do have some 𝐏𝐢𝐏 𝐭 going on, although it's a little less regular on the reactions. I do also have a new series that's gonna come soon, and also yet another series that's gonna replace Made in Abyss in I think roughly a month or something along those lines. So because Made in Abyss is gonna be like, I'm gonna be caught up to where the anime is at. If you're interested in all that, like my video, subscribe to the channel, right, to see what's going on, stay up to date. Check out my Discord. I do have a Discord server, and check out the Patreon if there's something that might pique your interest. Other than that, I'll be seeing you on my next reaction video.